यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे जय प्रभुपद प्रभुपद श्रील प्रभुपद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताई श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की पंथरा श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की समर्पित गौर भक्त वृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं स्वाग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं स्वाद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुलङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम्। सर्वशास्त्राभिपीयूष सर्ववेदैकसत्फल सर्वसिद्ध्यान्तरत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैकदिक्प्रद सर्वभागवतप्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभो कलिध्वान्तोदित आदित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता। Hare Krishna. We are studying from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10. Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. Text 26. Nirabhidyata śiśno vai prajānandāmṛtārthinaḥ upastha āsīt kāmānāṁ priyaṁ tad-ubhayāśrayam nirabhidyata śiśno vai prajānandāmṛtārthinaḥ upastha āsīt kāmānāṁ priyaṁ tad-ubhayāśrayam nirabhidyata śiśno vai prajānandāmṛtārthinaḥ upastha āsīt kāmānāṁ priyaṁ tad-ubhayāśrayam. nirabhidyata śiśno vai prajānandāmṛtārthinaḥ upastha āsīt kāmānāṁ āśrayam nirabhidyata śiśno vai prajā-ānanda-amṛta-arthinaḥ āsīt priyaṁ tad-ubhayāśrayam nirabhidyata śiśno vai prajā-ānanda-amṛtārthinaḥ upastha āsīt kāmānāṁ nirabhidyata śiśno vai prajānandāmṛtārthinaḥ upastha āsīt kāmānāṁ priyaṁ tad-ubhayāśrayam. Hare Krishna. Nirabhidyata came out. śiśnaḥ, the genitals. Vai, certainly. Prajā-ānanda, sex pleasure. amṛta-arthinaḥ, aspiring to taste nectar. upasthaḥ, the male or female organ. āsīt, came into existence. kāmānāṁ, of the lustful. priyaṁ, very dear. Tat, that. ubhaya-āśrayam, shelter for both. Translation and purport by His Divine Guru Srila Bhakti Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thereupon, for sexual pleasure, begetting offspring and tasting heavenly nectar, the Lord developed the genitals, and thus there is a genital organ and its controlling deity, the Prajāpati. The object of sexual pleasure and the controlling deity are under the control of the genitals of the Lord. Purport: the heavenly pleasure for the conditioned soul is sexual pleasure, and this pleasure is tasted by the genitals. The woman is the object of sexual pleasure, and both the sense perception of sexual pleasure and the woman are controlled by the Prajāpati, who is under the control of the Lord's genitals. The impersonalist must know from this verse that the Lord is not impersonal, for He has His genitals, on which all the pleasurable objects of sex depend. No one would have taken the trouble to maintain children if there were not taste of heavenly nectar by means of sexual intercourse. This material world is created to give the conditioned soul a chance for rejuvenation, for going back home, back to Godhead. And therefore, generation of the living being is necessary for upkeep of the purpose of creation. Sexual pleasure is an impetus for such action, and as such, one can even serve the Lord in the act of such sexual pleasure. The service is counted when the children born of such sexual pleasure are properly trained in God consciousness. The whole idea of material creation is to revive the dormant God consciousness of the living entity. In forms of life other than the human form, sexual pleasure is prominent without any motive of service for the mission of the Lord. But in the human form of life, the conditioned soul can render service to the Lord by creating progeny suitable for the attainment of salvation. One can beget hundreds of children and enjoy the celestial pleasure of sexual intercourse, provided he is able to train the children in God consciousness. Otherwise, begetting children is on the level of the swine. Rather the swine is more expert than the human being, because the swine can beget a dozen of piglets at a time, whereas the human being can give birth to only one at a time. So one should always remember that the genital sexual pleasure, the woman and the offspring are all related in the service of the Lord, and one who forgets this relationship in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord, becomes subjugated to the threefold miseries of material existence by the laws of nature. Perception of sexual pleasure is there even in the body of the dog, but there is no sense of God consciousness. The human form of life is distinct from that of the dog by the perception of God consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Prabhum Bande Valapiyad Anugrahat Tarinnana Madagraha Vyaptam Siddhanta Sagaram. Hare Krishna. So I pray to all the assembled devotees, both offline and online, those who are hearing, to bless me so that we can discuss something from Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran and serve all of you. When we see here first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, qualities of Sutta Goswami, first chapter of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada clarifies there the qualifications to sit on Vyasasan, represent Vyasdev, is really, really elevated. So when I remember that, I'm definitely not fit for that. Still seek your blessings to do the audacity to do that for my own purification. So we are studying the chapter Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. So in this regard, I remember a past time a story of Srila Prabhupada that I heard. I didn't read anywhere, but I heard from one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, one of the sannyasi. He was quoting this in one of the class, that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur sent some of his disciples to the West for preaching Krishna consciousness, and they couldn't do. He sent them to Europe, and they couldn't do much things there preaching. They were not successful. So they returned back. They were returning back to India, to Calcutta, and Prabhupada was at that time a grihastha, Abhaya-āśrayam Das, Abhay De or Abhay Babu, they used to call him. So Prabhupada as a grihastha, and then along with him there was another devotee. Both of them, they went to receive them, these devotees, sannyasis. They were returning from Europe after preaching, but they couldn't be successful. So they sat on the car and they were returning back to Gaudiya Math temple, and on the way they were discussing. So Prabhupada asked them, what happened there? That what was the case, or what was the situation there for preaching? And these devotees who returned back, they said that these Westerners, they asked such difficult and such strange questions that we could not answer. So immediately Srila Prabhupada said that what kind of questions can there be which cannot be answered by Srimad Bhagavatam? Can there be any kind of questions in this planet Earth which cannot be answered by Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam is answer to all questions. So that was the conviction of Srila Prabhupada from then, that yes, Srimad Bhagavatam can answer everything. Of course, don't ask the question that when is the train timetable from Navadip to Calcutta. So that's not the question to be asked. So people said, oh, Gurudev is Antaryami, so let me go and test him or ask something. What is going to happen in the World Cup cricket or football, or who is going to win in the politics? So Bhagavatam is answer to all questions. Do we have faith on this? How much faith do we have, respect do we have? Shraddha. Shraddha shabda vishwas kahe shudrira nishchay Krishne bhakti goile sarva karma krita hoy. Shraddha means faith, strong conviction that if I do bhakti, everything else will be taken care of, rest of all will be taken care of. Now, Shastra says many things, this happens, that happens. How much faith do we have? That's called astikya, one of the 9 qualities of Brahmana. Astikya, full faith on Shastra. Sometimes it's seen that to have faith on Shastra, to have faith on Prabhupada, Acharya, seems a bit difficult also, at least practically what we see. Prabhupada said certain things, Shastra said certain things, but our current modern technology or advancements or civilization says something else. No, this is like this, that is like that. Like Prabhupada said in one place that in the mango tree, the eastern side mango is like the ripe mango in the eastern side of the mango tree is the sweetest. Why? Because when the sun rises in the east in the early morning, the first sun rays touch that mango. So that mango is very sweet, sweetest. So now if we quote this to a devotee community, Prabhupada said the mango from the eastern part of the tree is very sweet. Okay, acha. Prabhupada says many things. But if tomorrow if I find you in some scientific journal, the scientist has done research after 1 year or 2 years and they have found out that after researching on 1000 mango trees and they have done the research and they found out that the eastern part of the mango or eastern side of the mango tree, like the mango from the eastern side is the sweetest. And it comes on some scientific journal and he quote that in class. Wow, great. Science has done a great job. Everybody will believe and wow, that will be a great thing. Sometimes in our classes also, if we quote some scientist, some research journal, some this and that, they said like this, okay, that's authentic. In order to prove something, you need to quote something else from outside, then it's okay, it's authentic. But if you quote Prabhupada and Shastra, okay, they say different things. So once I was discussing with one devotee in a private room conversation and we had close relation, we were discussing. The Prabhupada said like this, we should be doing like this. I said, no, but then it happens like this practically and practically we can't do this, happen, that happen, it's not that important. Means he was trying to negate that principle because he was not able to follow that. Then I said, okay, you are not able to follow that, fine. At least you admit that what Prabhupada said, what Shastra said is true, correct, but I am not able to follow that right now due to my practical surrounding or situation. But this is true. Now, because you cannot follow that, you cannot just negate this principle as wrong. So that's what happened. At least you accept, okay, this building is 100th floor, I am on the 10th floor. I have to climb again 90 floors. You cannot say I am on the 10th floor, so this building is, the 10th floor is the highest floor of this building. So that's what happened also. So Prabhupada says, Shastra says, Acharya nishtha. Acharya mod jai shei mod shar, taro agya longhi chole shei toshar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. One who follows the view, the instruction teachings of Acharya, that is the only conclusion. Anything else other than the Acharya's conclusion is nothing but useless. So that's what for us, Srila Prabhupada is our founder Acharya, we accept everything what he says, no matter what the scientists say, that we do this, we do that. Okay, so now in this particular text or in this particular section we are seeing that how in this particular chapter, creation procedure, Virat Rupa, from him the subtle organ sense, gross organ sense, Devata and different things are created. And actually our senses, our everything is coming from the Supreme Lord. So now this particular text 26 talks about genitals, sexual pleasure, and Prabhupada very beautifully and brilliantly he said here that this can be a service. Sexual pleasure can be a service to Lord provided it's done in that particular spirit, how Prabhupada said in Shastra, for begetting Krishna conscious child and giving them training to Krishna in Krishna consciousness, then this can be a service. Krishna also said in Bhagavad Gita, Dharma viruddha kamasmi. Now, Prabhupada is saying that. And then important is that to train these children in God consciousness. Otherwise, begetting children is on the level of swine. Even swine and other things can produce so many children, so many other things. So, this service to Supreme Personality of Godhead, yes. So, we see in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in Dhyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, where in one of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that even grihasthas in Krishna consciousness who maintain that restriction and who maintain that system according to Shastra, having union with wife and everything, they can be as and beget Krishna conscious children, give them good Garbhadan samskar, everything. So they can be called as Grihastha Brahmachari. Okay. Then Prabhupada said that such Grihastha Brahmacharis are accepted only in the Bhakti Yoga, in the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you go in Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, there is no concept of this Grihastha Brahmacharis. If you want to attain Siddhi in Dhyana Yoga or Jnana Yoga, you must be a Brahmachari. You must be a celibate. No question of sexual pleasure or Grihastha. You just have to, like Ashtanga Yoga you see in 6th chapter, just Shuchodesha Pratisthapya, give up your home, go to a secluded place, sit on the place, not high, not low, and it's like that. Go to jungle, go to forest, go to Himalayas, or go to underwater like Sohari Muni. So you must give up home, you must be a renunciate in order to get here Siddhi in Ashtanga Yoga and Dhyana Yoga and all. No question of Grihasthas. So if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not come, if Srila Prabhupada would not come, if they would not preach Krishna consciousness, Grihasthas would not have any hope only. For Grihastha, you are Sakam Karmis, be like a Sakam Karmis, and hundreds and thousands of lives just go like that. But in specifically, and that also at certain point, all these things are there. So specifically in Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, no question of, no hope for them. Only in Bhakti Yoga. So we are fortunate that Prabhupada gave us Bhakti Yoga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us Bhakti Yoga, and we have got this opportunity that even Grihasthas in Krishna consciousness also have the similar thing, similar hope and possibilities. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came, his associates were Grihastha, Shivas Thakur and Shivananda Sen and all of them. And how all of them were doing bhakti. Srila Prabhupada himself, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself came and followed their life as a Grihastha and showed example. But that's difficult because we see what Prabhupada is saying, that if one can beget Krishna conscious child, one can have hundreds of child also and have sexual pleasure. Prabhupada is saying here. But what's the guarantee to have a Krishna conscious child? Even Advaita Acharya, Supreme Lord, Advaita Acharya, he had 6 sons and out of them 3 were in the right track, 3 went in different track. Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, we don't hear anything about his family members and children, and they're different story, history. So what's the guarantee? So, yeah, otherwise you see, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had how many children? So earlier Vedic time, they used to have more kids, more thing, but nowadays everybody is fearful of having more kids. One reason is that one thing is financial thing, how to maintain, and education and everything is so costly, and that's another thing. And second thing is, of course, some are fearful of financial things, some are fearful of, no, like what if they don't become devotee? There's another headache, another like, and that's what we see in devotee community. That's a thing. Devotees' parents are really terrified, and it's a pathetic thing. It's a really unfortunate. It's a really what called painful thing for parents if they see that kids are not doing bhakti, going in different direction, different track. Because these like Atmaja, my son, my daughter came out from my own body and not doing bhakti and doing some wrong things and going in deviated way. It feels so. You cannot give up, cut out affection also, and you cannot accept it also, like what they are doing. So that becomes really in a mixed thing. So only hope is, actually we cannot do anything. We can just, we can hope against hope. We can pray to Srila Prabhupada. We can, for that we should have Garbhadan Samskar from the beginning, and then of course after Garbhadan Samskar also right consciousness, right environment. Parents need to be very sincere in Krishna consciousness. Instead of like telling the children, do this, you have to tell, let's do this. Otherwise they will not do. So parents need to be themselves active in Krishna consciousness and serious, then children will take it up from them Then also, even if the parents are sincere, even if everything is done, what will happen, we don't know. Many things. Ajamil had good samskara, we can see. He was a good Brahmana, learned in the Shastra, was worshipping the Shalagram Shila, and everything, knew Shastra so much in and out. But that was an unfortunate situation. And nowadays it's even more. So what will happen to whom, we don't know. There are many, like recently also one Mataji came and she was telling about her son that when he was more younger, he was so eager in Krishna consciousness. He used to be like the chanting, and he used to be so strict. No, I will take only prasadam, nothing else. And if it's offered to Krishna, no, I will not. Water also I will not take without being offered. Then he went to schools, and gradually now he is around the teenage boy now. Now something is not that interested. It's going to different things. Whole day with phone and with the friends and whole different relation games. So what to do? So everything has to be taken care of. So that's why Grihastha life is. We say that Brahmacharya Ashram renunciate it's like you playing chess. It's a solo game. You play well, you win. You don't play well, you lose. But Grihastha Ashram is like playing cricket or football. You are the batsman, you came and you did double century, that's fine, you're Sachin Tendulkar. But then your bowlers has to bowl well also. Fielders has to field well also. Keepers has to keep well also. Everything has to go well. Pitch has to be good also. You Sachin Tendulkar, you did doubles, double 100, 200. Your bowler did like nonsense bowling, you are gone. Team will lose. So husband, wife, children, kids, everything. So everybody is living soul, individual soul here. Husband, wife, kids, everybody living soul. So we cannot control, we cannot dominate anyone. Even Krishna doesn't do that. Krishna does not interfere into the independence of the living soul. So we cannot do that ultimately. We cannot make someone forcefully devotee. So husband cannot guarantee the wife will be devotee, wife cannot guarantee husband will be devotee, or even marriage also, married life also. Now boy and girl come together and get married. Now both are good devotees. So what's the guarantee they will continue to be a devotee after 5 years? It happens. Now they are good after 5 years, maybe husband becomes less interested and something, wife becomes something else. So then it's difficult. And the kids, so many other things. So Grihastha life is whole team game. Team game. So yet we say that in Kali Yuga, specifically in material world, renunciation, brahmacharya and sannyas is the best ashram, the most celebrated, best ashram, and fastest ashram, fastest way to progress. On the other hand, Grihastha ashram is the safest. So best versus, or best and fastest versus safest and slow. Grihastha ashram is safest and slow, and the renunciation, Grihatyagi, is best and fastest. It's like that you go to Calcutta by local bus, it will take you 3 hours, or maybe you get to Calcutta by, you go by some belgari or go by walking. It's safer, just go. But if you want to go to Calcutta, if you have this racing bike, you can go 300 mile per hour or something like that. You can go and reach within an hour or so, whatever. But it's highly risky. So whatever, each and every living soul has to decide their way, how they can do bhakti, in which ashrama, in which way. But that happens that this system is given. System is given and hope is given for us. So I was thinking to speak something about, like, we are in 2nd canto. We are in the 10th chapter, going to end. 2nd canto, 3rd canto is going to start after few verses. So I thought just to discuss something, the brief overview of 1st canto to 2nd canto, how we came here. So, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran. Once upon a time, in the place of Naimisharanya, the sages assembled, seeing the Kali Yuga, the bad side of Kali Yuga, Kalir doshanidhe rajan is doshanidhi. But of course, asti eka mahan guru, that's there. So Kalir doshanidhe rajan, the ocean of faults in Kali Yuga. So sages in Naimisharanya, they assembled to perform yagya, some fire sacrifice, in order to do some welfare for 1,000 years. But then they found out that no, it's not going to work. This austerity, this yagya process is not going to work. And their whole body became black with the smoke of fire sacrifice. So then they said, what to do? Let us listen to Purana. In Kali Yuga, Bhagavad Vidhi is the main thing. Pancharatra Vidhi is there, but then Bhagavad Vidhi is the main, and we do Pancharatra Vidhi because we are not able to take shelter of Bhagavad Vidhi fully. So Pancharatra Vidhi is not going to work in that way. So they thought, let's hear Purana. From whom? Romaharshana Sutta, who was the disciple of Vyasadeva and who was entrusted by Vyasadeva to be Acharya of Purana. Vyasadeva divided Vedas into 4 parts, Rig, Sam, Atharva, Yajurveda, and he entrusted 4 of his disciples in the 4 branches. And then he gave Purana to Romaharshana Sutta. He is the Acharya of that. So they they accepted him. He sat on Vyasasana, and they glorified him, and they blessed him that you long live, may you have a long life. Okay? Purana Katha started. At that time came Balaramji. And when he came there, all the sages stood up and they respected him, welcomed him. But Romaharshana Sutta thought that, oh, I am sitting on Vyasasana, I don't need to come. I am like on the elevated position. Why should I come down and offer respect? Balaramji understood that this person is not fit for sitting on Vyasasana. So he took a kusha grass and he killed him. So now the sages said, oh my God, what have you done? Why? No, just now we have blessed him to have a long life, and you have killed him. So we are the sages, Brahmanas, and Brahmanas' blessings cannot go in vain. So Balaramji said, okay, so then I can give him life back. I can bring him back to life. But they said, no, again, you are, just like we are sages, our blessings cannot go in vain. Similarly, you are Supreme Lord, your activity cannot be undone. So what to do? What is the solution? They say in Shastra it says that Son is the representative of the Father. Son is the manifestation of the Father. So whatever blessings we gave to the Father, we will transfer that blessings to the Son. Romaharshana Sutta. Romaharshana Sutta's son is Ugrashava Sutta. So and Ugrashava Sutta is that Sutta Goswami who is the speaker of Bhagavatam. And then they accepted him, gave him Vyasasana, and then they blessed him that you will have long life. And now, this is the Ugrashava Sutta, the Sutta Goswami, who was along with Parikshit Maharaj, sat for 7 days and nights and heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami. And Shukadeva Goswami gave the prediction in 12th canto of Bhagavatam that this Sutta Goswami who has heard Bhagavatam from me for 7 days night, in future in the sages, in the assembly of sages in Naimisharanya, he will be narrating Srimad Bhagavat Katha. So prediction was that it matched. So now Ugrashava Sutta, he was not Brahmana, he was in law born. So that another principle that Brahmana by birth is nullified, that's negated. No, Brahmana by qualification, Acharya. So now Sutta Goswami, he said, and then the sages started to ask questions to him. So they asked him 6 questions in the first chapter of Bhagavatam, that what is the ultimate benediction for human being? What is the essence of all the Vedic scriptures that we should hear? Why did Krishna appear as the son of Nanda and Vasudeva? Please tell us about Purusha avatars, Purusha incarnations. 5th, please tell us about Lila avatars. And 6th, where did dharma, religious principle, take shelter of after Krishna has departed from this world? Dharmaha kam sharanam gataha. 6th question in chapter 1. We want to hear from you. Then from chapter 2 to 3 in first canto, Sutta Goswami, he answered those questions. Number 1, what is the ultimate benefit or welfare for human being? Savai pumsam paro dharma yato bhakti radhokshaje ahaitukya pratihata yatmasu prasidati, that human being or living being, they should do bhakti to Supreme Personality of Godhead, adhaukshaya. How it should be? Ahaituki, unmotivated, apratihata, then it can be uninterpreted. And then it can be that can be blissful. Yayatmasu prasidati. And that's the essence of scriptures. Dharma sanusthito pumsam vishvaksena katha suyaha na utpadayat yadiratim shramaye vahi kevalam. Even if after doing all these dharma, religious principles, varnashram, everything, if someone does not get attraction to hear Krishna katha, then all his religious principles and dharma, everything is in vain, it's useless. So, two questions are answered. Essence of all the Shastras is Krishna Katha. Now, third question was, why did Krishna come as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva? Answer is to elevate the human being in the mood of goodness and to deliver them from the clutches of ignorance and passion. Okay, and further these things described. Now, fourth question, Purushavatas. For that he describes three Purushavatas, Karanadakshay Vishnu, Mahavishnu, then Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, how creation process starts. All three are the super souls. Kshirodakshay Vishnu is the super soul within each and every living beings. Karanadakshay Vishnu is the Garbhadakshay Vishnu is the super soul within the heart of like Vyashti and Samasti. Kshirodakshay Vishnu is the super soul of individual living beings, and Garbhadakshay Vishnu is the super soul of collective aggregate of living beings of the entire universe. And Karanadakshay Vishnu is the super soul of entire material creation, and it goes in more details. Okay, then he talked about Lilavataras, fifth question. Answered that 22 incarnations, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, 22 incarnations he discusses there. Then in that list he says Krishna also, Krishna Balaram also. Then he separates that, no, ete chamsa kala pumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam indari vyakulam lokam bridayanti yuge yuge. That out of like all these incarnations, they are just partial incarnations, partial manifestations of Supreme Personality of Godhead, kala, but the avatari is Krishna. Swayam Bhagavan is Krishna, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur establishes this verse as the ultimate verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is called, what was it called? I forgot. Paribhasha Sutra of Srimad Bhagavatam. So what is Paribhasha Sutra? Paribhasha Sutra is defining principle. It is said once only. Paribhasha Sutra of any book is said once, and which will rule the entire book. So now this verse 1.3.22, this verse is the Paribhasha Sutra of Bhagavatam. Means this verse, this shloka defines the ultimate conclusion of Bhagavatam, that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And why it's important? You see, in the fourth canto of Bhagavatam, we will find that Daksha and Sati episode, Daksha, Sati and Shiva episode, when Sati entered into that yogic fire, and then Lord Shiva was angry, Daksha was killed. Then Brahmaji came to Kailash along with demigods, and they prayed to Lord Shiva in order to please him. And Brahma, he prayed in such a way, all these verses if you read, that it will give the impression that Lord Shiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the cause of creation, maintenance and annihilation, this, that, everything comes from you. So the Shaivites, they can quote these verses from Bhagavatam. See, Bhagavatam says Shiva is Supreme Personality of Godhead. You see 8th canto of Bhagavatam, where Lord Shiva drank the holahol poison after churning milk ocean. And there also demigods prayed to Shiva in such a way that it seems Shiva is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then you need to quote Paribhasha Sutra. No, Shiva is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because Bhagavatam says Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So we need to explain all 17,999 verses need to be explained under the line of this 1.3.28, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Nothing else is supreme. This is supreme thing. So that's important. So, and then the sixth question was, where did Dharma took shelter of? So, Krishna Swadhama Upagate Dharma Jnana Divisaha Kalo nashta drishamesha puranarka dhunodita. That when Krishna disappeared, went back to his abode with religious dharma jnana devi saha, then came Srimad Bhagavat, Puranarka, Puran Surya, the sun and glories of Bhagavatam. So thus ends first 3 chapters of first canto. 6 questions are answered. So that's the first part. We can divide the first canto into 2 parts. Part 1, part A, part B. Part A is 1 to 3. Now part B is chapter 4 to 19. Now in the beginning of chapter 4 of first canto, the sages, they congratulate first of all to Sutta Goswami, and in that purport Prabhupada says interestingly, what is self-realization, personal realization? Realization means not to screw out some obscure meaning. The original text, purpose of the text should be maintained. One should have full faith in Acharya. Yet one should be such expert in understanding the principle in such a way that he should be able to present in a suitable manner according to time, place, circumstances for audience. So that's also there, balance between that. In preaching, one can be so expert that he can preach from his personal examples and different things, but then he should not dilute the principle, not deviate. So then the sages asked again 3 questions. Question number 1, like chapter 3 ended with Bhagavatam, Purana Surya. Now they asked the question that, please tell us who compiled Bhagavatam and where did he get the inspiration and when did he do it, or why did he do it, about Srimad Bhagavatam. Question number 1 about Bhagavatam. Question number 2, please tell us about the birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj. His tasya janma mahāśrayam, his birth is such wonderful. Why? Now, how many people on this planet Earth has seen Krishna in the womb of mother and was killed and then Krishna saved them? And his death is also wonderful. How many people could know 7 days before? Death notification, alert. They gave alert in phone notification, alarm that after 7 days you are going to die. He got it. And then his activities are also wonderful. Why? Now, how many people on this earth could punish Kali? And he did that. So his birth is wonderful, activities are wonderful, his death is wonderful. We want to know about him, his birth and activities. Second question. Third question is, we want to know about Shukdev Goswami. Like he was a renunciate, and he is such a great renunciate that he doesn't even wait in Grihastha's house more than the milking time. How much time it takes to milk? And that time only a few minutes he stays there, and just only for that to preach to them Krishna consciousness. Otherwise he even doesn't need to do that also. But that Shukdev Goswami is such great renunciate, he is a topmost renunciate, and this renunciate that do not associate with materialists or grihasthas, or what to speak of kings. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't want to meet with King Prataparudra. But Shukdev Goswami, he spent 7 days and nights with King Parikshit. How come? And why did even Parikshit want to give up his body? He was the king. King's body is the shelter of all the living beings, all the other citizens. And how come the citizens of Hastinapur accept Shukdev Goswami? How was he accepted, welcomed? We want to know that. So 3 questions about Bhagavatam, about Parikshit Maharaj, about Shukdev Goswami. So now to answer these 3 questions, entire rest of the first canto goes. Chapter 4 to chapter 19. To answer first question about Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami speaks chapter 4, 5, 6, episode of Vyasadeva, even though he compiled 4 Puranas, divided Vedas, he was not satisfied in heart. Narad Muni instructed him to compile Srimad Bhagavatam, and then Narad Muni told his whole previous experience, previous life experience, everything. That's one thing. The 4, 5, 6, then Vyasadeva compiled Bhagavatam. Second edition of Bhagavatam. It's second edition of Bhagavatam. First edition was there in the Ashtadash Puranas, it was there. So then from chapter 7, he starts answering the second question about Parikshit Maharaj. So now he is supposed to describe the birth of Parikshit Maharaj. But then he goes to describe the background story, what happened there. So then he starts from Kurukshetra war, when Ashvathama came, he wanted to kill Pandavas, but killed the sons of Pandavas who were sleeping. And then Arjuna went, chased him, caught him, and then Arjuna wanted to punish him. And that was whole dilemma, that he should be killed or not. Chapter 7. Then they left him, that cut down his hair, and that jewel. Then Ashvathama, he threw Brahmastra towards the womb of Uttara. Uttara Devi came running to Krishna. Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate, please save me, save my child. So then Krishna saved Parikshit from the womb. So then Kunti Maharani prayed, chapter 8, Kunti Devi Stuti, entire prayer. And Krishna was about to leave Hastinapur and go to Dwarka. Long days, all this war, he was in Hastinapur only. So Kunti Devi prayed to him and said, please stay back for some more days. Yudhishthira Maharaj also requested him, he stayed back. So then chapter 9, they went to Vishmadev, and Vishmadev's prayer, Vishmadev's stuti and all, his giving of the body, chapter 9. Now after Vishmadev left body and everything happened, all these final rites and everything, now Krishna said, let me go now. He said, okay. So now Krishna will leave Hastinapur, and all the Hastinapur residents are going to give a farewell to Krishna. So chapter 10 is a farewell party. How they are giving him farewell? Brahmanas are chanting mantras, the ladies are on the terrace, rooftop, and they are discussing Krishna Katha and all these things. And even that Krishna Katha of the ladies, that is more suited to Krishna than these Brahmanas chanting Veda mantras, and how all the soldiers and all were there. So Hastinapur Vasis gave farewell to Krishna, that was chapter 10. In chapter 11, Krishna enters Dwarka, and Dwarka Vasis welcome him. So chapter 10 is farewell party, chapter 11 is welcome party. Okay, 10 and 11 goes. So now you see, Sutta Goswami was asked to describe the birth of Parikshit, but he spent 5 chapters, chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, in different other stories of the other things. Vashathama, and then Kunti Stuti, Vishma Stuti, and then other things about Krishna. So again the sages reminded him, please talk about Parikshit's birth. So then in chapter 12 he talks about Parikshit's birth, how he was born, and the astrologers came and they predicted his future qualities like great kings and all. But Yudhishthira was so happy. And even they predicted that how he will be cursed by Shringi, to be beaten by Takshaka, and all these things were predicted. And chapter 12. Now, birth is done. Now, activities of Parikshit Maharaj. So, in order to describe activities, again he starts from beginning, background. That Vidura, he left Hastinapur before Kurukshetra war. He heard Bhagavad Katha from Maitreya in Haridwar. Then he returned back to Hastinapur in order to bless, or in order to deliver his elder brother Dhritarashtra, who is attached in family life. And such important chapter, Vidura's instructions to Dhritarashtra. He very harshly and strongly speaks to Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra he renunciates. Okay, and they left home. So Narad Muni comes, and Narad Muni pacifies Yudhishthira Maharaj. So then in chapter 14, Yudhishthira Maharaj is worried that and so many months passed, and I sent Arjuna to Dwarka, he hasn't come back, what's happening there? And Narad Muni indicated that oh my dear Yudhishthira, that you have a great purpose to achieve. Till the time Krishna is in this planet earth, you execute your duties. But by that time Krishna already disappeared. But Narad Muni didn't tell it. Even Vidura didn't reveal it. So then Yudhishthira got doubt. Why did Narad Muni say like this? Maybe Krishna is planning to disappear. And he is also an inauspicious omens. He is watching, his inauspicious omens and all, inauspicious signs. So then Arjuna comes. Then he asks, and see, Arjuna is very morose and looks like his pale face. So Yudhishthira Maharaj asks him questions. And so then chapter 14 ends like that, just questions. Chapter 15 he starts answering questions, that yes, Krishna left. So then Arjuna remembers Krishna, and then whole episode is there, Krishna's pastimes, all. So then Yudhishthira and Pandavas retire from home, chapter 15. They retire from home, and Draupadi, Subhadra, Kunti Devi all attain back to Godhead, spiritual destination, and that's all. In chapter 16 comes how the conversation between Dharma and Dharitri in the form of bull and cow. And there was the Shudra Kali who broke the 3 legs of Dharma, the bull, and went ahead. Parikshit Maharaj came, and Parikshit Maharaj, he wanted to, like, conversation between the chapter 16, 17 goes like this. And then he punishes Kali to be in the 4 places, then 5th place is gold. And that's how he was cursed. He was cursed. So when he was cursed, he went and sat on the bank of Ganges to discuss Bhagavad Katha, to hear Bhagavad. And then Sukta Goswami came. He asked 2 questions. What is the ultimate duty of human being? And specifically, what is to be done, what should be done by a person who is going to die? And then assembled sages, they had different opinions. Some say this, some say that, different things. But Parikshit Maharaj was not happy. Some said karma kanda, some said jnana kanda, ashtanga yoga, demigod worship, austerity, and this and that. Yajna, fire sacrifice, but he was not happy. So then came Shukdev Goswami. Shukdev Goswami came as Digambara, he is Avadhuta, not wearing clothes also. Digvasa, like all directions are his clothes. Then Hastinapur ladies and kids, they thought he is just a madman. They were chasing him and all. So as soon as Shukdev Goswami came to the assembly of Parikshit on the bank of Ganges, all the sages, they could understand that he is a great personality. Because they were expert in Samudrik Shastra. They understand bodily science, understand who is how. So he had that form like Krishna, and his complexion and his effulgence. So then they gave him sit, and so everybody accepted that now he is the right person to answer our question, answer the dispute. So then Parikshit Maharaj asked him the questions, and then second canto, Shukdev Goswami answers that questions, what is to be done, what should be done, and then he quotes Khatvanga Maharaj's case and all. Like a dying person, what he should do, he should surrender to Krishna. So first 3 chapters he talks about directly Krishna Katha, and he establishes Bhakti Yoga over other Karma Jnana Yoga. And then in chapter 4 he remembers, I haven't done Mangalacharanam. So he does Mangalacharanam in chapter 4. And then chapter 5, 6 he talks about the Purusha Sukta, and then he quotes. Parikshit Maharaj asks some questions, and then in order to answer that he quotes how Maitreya asked those questions, Vidura asked the questions to Maitreya, he quotes Vidur Maitreya conversation like that, it goes, he will quote now. And he quotes also Brahma Narada Sambad in between, and the second canto ends. It has 10, second canto says, this chapter says the 10 topics, subject matter of Bhagavatam, Atra Sarga Vishargascha Sthanam Poshanam Utayaha, Manvantara Ishanu Katha Nirodha Amṛta-arthinaḥ. Sarga, primary creation, Visarga, secondary creation, Atra Sarga Visargascha Sthanam, about planetary system, Poshanam, how the Supreme Lord, he maintains, he protects his devotees and maintains the living beings. Utayaha, karma vasana, creative impetus. Utayaha, manvantara, about different manvantaras, Manu's reigns and times. Ishanu Katha, Supreme Lord dynasties and everything will be said in 9th canto. And Nirodha Amṛta-arthinaḥ, Mukti and all. So thus second canto comes and end. Third canto, he will start answering the questions of Parikshit Maharaj by quoting Vidur Maitreya Sambad. How Vidura asked similar questions to Maitreya, and Maitreya answered it. Thus goes Bhagavatam. Grantara Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari.